Asgard O'Neill class. This is BlueBrixx Stargate set 108746. It was released in November 2025 for about €100. This construction block set consists of 1407 pieces, which are compatible to bricks by other building blocks companies like Lego, Kobe, Mega, and so on. Like all the other BlueBrixx Stargate sets, this is a BlueBrixx Pro set, which means unlike the special sets, it comes with a rather colorful box. But it also means that the bricks sadly are manufactured by Xingbao, which means they probably will work, but I'm also quite sure that they will come with rather ugly injection holes on the studs. When we have a look here at the box's front cover, there we can see our ship, and luckily it seems there are not too many visible studs. So we got some studs over here in the front, here are some studs, and maybe also there. But it seems that all in all there aren't too many studs visible, and this means at least we won't see too many of those ugly injection holes on the studs. But have a look here. There are quite a few ingots used for this build. And if I remember correctly, then Xingbao uses quite ugly injection holes on their ingots. So those ingots come with injection holes, I think, in the middle of that piece. And yeah, that's just not so nice to look at. But, well, we will see. As you can see, there are no injection holes visible on this image here, but it's simply a computer-rendered image and not a real photography, so it doesn't really show those injection holes. But I'm quite sure that we will see those injection holes on the real bricks. Well, I guess we will find out. Alright, then let's have a look at the box's backside. And yeah, there we get to see the complete build, so the ship with its stand. And we also get to know the dimensions of the build. It's 40.5 centimeters by 43.2 centimeters by 19.6 centimeters. Well, I have built quite a few of those BlueBrixx Stargate sets, and yeah, building those ships always was fun. I hope that once again we will have a fun building experience. Let's open the box first. The pieces come in numbered bags, so this means the pieces are pre-sorted to individual building sections. That's cool. Let's have a look down here. There should be somewhere the instructions. Yes, there they are. We get printed building instructions, and sadly I couldn't find any digital instructions on the BlueBrixx website. Maybe we will get digital instructions in the future, but at least at the moment there are only printed instructions. When we open the instructions, then we can see that the set comes with 4 building sections. Alright, I'm going to open now all the bags with the number 1 on them. And then I will start with the first building section with step 1-1. I will come back to you as soon as I see something interesting or something simply doesn't work as shown in the instructions. Step 1-14. So far we have built the main part of the base. Those little pillars on which the ship later will sit on are still missing. And right now we start to build the plaque. And yeah, this plaque is in the shape of a little Stargate. I think we can see it here on the backside. When we have a look at the pieces for the plaque, we can see that they are pre-attached to this huge plaque round plate. And now we have to remove the pieces from that round plate and yeah, place the pieces on this little construction here. They attach these pieces on this round plate during the production process because That way they can print on all the pieces in one single go, and that way we have perfectly aligned prints. When we would print on every piece individually, then yeah, the print simply wouldn't be that perfectly aligned. That's why they do it like this. But it also means we have to detach all the pieces now. When we have a look at the instructions, you can see that we start with the outer pieces of that Stargate, so we can detach the outer pieces first. In earlier Stargate sets, we always had to start with this round tile here in the center and there, going from inwards to outwards, and this was always really annoying. So I think this is, yeah, a real good change that now we can simply easily detach the piece from the outside, place it here, and then go on and working our way towards the middle. Step 1-20. At the moment we are building the pillars on which the ship is going to sit on. And yeah, for the pillars we use Technic axles, and then we slide down these transparent round bricks down the Technic axles. And we actually have to pay attention because you can see we got here these 1x1 images, and there you can see that the tips of these Technic axles peek out of the round bricks, but the length are different. So you can see here only a shorter part peeks out than over here. We can hold our little segment on top of that build, and then we can see if we have done everything correctly. So yeah, this looks fine. And here is the second pillar. I'm still assembling it, and yeah, this also seems to be fine. Alright, we have completed the stand, and now in step 1-21 we start assembling the ship. And yeah, the first step of the ship is quite interesting. You can see we work with a lot of glow-in-the-dark pieces. I don't think that I have ever used that many glow-in-the-dark pieces before. That's cool. Step 1-43. In this step we are using pieces which the Lego company doesn't use, but I have seen those pieces in other recent BlueBrixx sets. So those are 2x3 wedge plates, but unlike the Lego pieces, they come without any studs. Step 1-52. We have completed the first building section, and so far we have assembled the stand with the plaque and also this segment here, which will become part of the ship. Yeah, just as expected, the pieces come with rather ugly injection holes. You can see these crater-like holes here. Those are way too big. But opposite to what I thought before, the ingots come actually with rather neat injection points. That's absolutely fine. If you remember my video about the BlueBrixx DeLorean, then you might also remember that I wasn't the biggest fan of the metallic silver pieces. The pieces in the DeLorean set came with a lot of scratches. They looked so heavily used, but these Qingbao pieces here look absolutely fine, at least when talking about the color. I think that's absolutely alright. There's nothing to complain about. But with the DeLorean set, I wasn't so happy about the clutch power of the metallic silver pieces. And I'm not too happy with the clutch power of these metallic silver pieces here either. The pieces simply feel differently when interlocking than, interlocking normal bricks. I think the clutch power just is less compared to other bricks. But so far, the clutch power still seems to be enough to have a sturdy build. The pieces don't fall off. The build is absolutely sturdy. And yeah, if this is the case throughout the whole building process, then I don't think there really is a reason to complain about the pieces. Oh, I almost forgot to mention that we once again got a giraffe brick separator. For some reason, BlueBrixx always gives us these giraffe brick separators. Those are Xingbao brick separators. Yeah, always when they give us one of their sci-fi sets. So several of the Stargate sets come with this giraffe-like brick separator, and also a lot of their Star Trek sets came with these brick separators. I don't know why they do this. I think it's always a bit unfitting to get this yellowish orange giraffe in a science fiction set, but well, we can simply ignore this thing here. I actually don't use it at all. It isn't the best brick separator, but I guess doing this here, you know, separating pieces like this works totally fine with this thing. Maybe we can't really use it to detach tiles and so on. I prefer Lego brick separators for that. But yeah, you really don't have to use it. You can simply ignore this piece if you don't like it. It's nice to have a brick separator, so that's that. Alright, I think now it's time to go on with the second building section. Step 2-3. In this step we are using another piece which the Lego company doesn't use. It's a piece which we use to reverse the stud order. So it's a 1x1 piece with a stud on each side. Step 2-14. Here is another piece which is used to reverse the stud order. This time it's a 1x2 plate with studs on both sides. Step 2-55. We have completed the second building section, in which we have added wings to our build. Now it's time for the third building section, in which we are going to add, well, at least the ground structure of the part of the ship, which also houses the bridge. At least I think so. Step 3-12. In this step we find another piece which is used to reverse the stud order. This time it's a 2x2 plate with studs on both sides. So this goes here, this goes there, and the brick goes up here, and then we are done with this step. Step 3-19. In this step we have to wet two bigger segments. So we wet this disc-like part up here with the main build. And this wasn't so easy. We have to interlock quite a few studs at once, and I will show you a little trick which helped me. So you can see that I got these gaps here which aren't there. I simply removed these little segments here. They normally sit in here like this, but without these segments we can really push the whole bigger segment better into place. And yeah, we can see if some of the studs are not interlocked properly. It's just way easier when we get these gaps here. And once we have wet these two segments, we can simply add the missing pieces once again. This goes here, and this goes here. perfect. Step 3-40. We got more special pieces. This time we got 2x2 wedge plates without studs. Step 3-42. We just have added a bigger segment to the build. And, well, have a look at this. I think so far the build could be its own sci-fi ship. The bridge part here in the front is still missing, and also those vertical fins attached to the wings are still missing. But when we have a look from this direction, I think this could be a bridge. Yeah, here are the wings, and maybe this here is the engine part. I don't know. I think it looks pretty cool. It could be a spaceship. Or maybe even some kind of sci-fi submarine. Step 3-54. We also got those studless wedge plates in the size of 2x4. This is the piece which we need in this step, but there's also the opposite piece. Step 3-55. Look, we have built a little Millennium Falcon. I think this is going to be the ship's head, the bridge part. Step 3-65. We have completed the third building section, and now we know the ship's whole base area. We still have to complete the upper part of the ship's front part, and also we still have to attach those huge fins to the wings. We will do these things in the fourth building section. Step 4-21. We just have completed this little segment here, and it might look quite cool, but it definitely was no fun to build. You can see we simply, did stick a lot of stuff on bars, and we had to align these pieces not perfectly, but well enough that it doesn't look too stupid. And yeah, it's never fun to do such things. I prefer just interlocking bricks with each other. That's what building blocks are for me. This stuff here isn't fun at all. But at least it looks cool, and yeah, it's a cool detail, which we now attach to the top of the ship. I think over here. Step 4-58. We have completed the build. Now let's have a look at our Asgard ship. Doesn't it look great? This is a really cool color. I like it. When they announced this model here in the beginning, I wasn't really that fond of the set. It looked a bit bulky, I thought. It didn't look as cool as the other Stargate models they published. But now, when I got the set assembled in front of me, I have to say, when you get the real set in front of you, it looks way cooler than it does on the product images. Yeah, it's a cool ship. Maybe the model isn't as detailed as the original ship. It looks a bit clunky, but I think all in all, it's definitely recognizable. I guess they did the best what you can do with building blocks in this scale. Yeah, it looks absolutely alright. You can see we got a lot of curved parts here. The wings are curved, or the back here. They really worked a lot with those curved slopes. And this gives the ship a great look. The area or the sides here of the original ship have a lot of windows. I think several rows of windows. And yeah, this doesn't look as good as the original ship. We tried to recreate this with these translucent plates in blue. Maybe prints would have looked better, but on the other side, I'm not sure if you could really have placed cool printed pieces in these gaps here. Maybe this would have looked a bit strange. I don't know. The interior of the ship consists of many glow-in-the-dark pieces, and as far as I know, I think I saw it in their product video, they wanted to try if the glow-in-the-dark pieces are visible through the windows. So when you turn off the light, they hope that, yeah, the inside was glowing a bit, but this doesn't really work, so they also could have simply gone with white pieces. But since this isn't a problem for us, if we use white pieces or glow-in-the-dark pieces, it doesn't look bad from the outside, so I think it's alright. It's not a problem. It would have been great if they could emulate, lights behind windows with these pieces, but it seems that it simply didn't work out. But all in all, the ship looks cool. I like the metallic silver color. And yeah, let's have a closer look at the details. Well, to be honest, I don't know much about this ship, so I can't show you a lot of details. I think somewhere here in the front might be the bridge. The ship is huge. It's so huge, so the bridge is only supposed to be a tiny part. So maybe it isn't really visible. I can't say where the bridge is. Is it down here? Is it somewhere here in the front? I don't know, but I guess it's here. Then we got, of course, here some weapons on the front, but also here attached to the wings. The wings itself are quite cool that they come with these curves here, also the back part. And then we got these huge, these fins attached to the wings. I guess it doesn't make much sense to have a ship which is only in space with wings. They don't really have to care much about aerodynamics in space, so I don't know where this ship got its wings. Maybe simply to attach those fins, which I don't think that they are used for stabilization. I guess, there's simply some space for the crews, or for the crew, there are cabins inside. Or maybe, yes, there's simply space where you can walk in. I think there isn't much crew in the ship, on board the ship. If I remember correctly, the ship is only controlled by one single Asgard, so you don't really need a crew. I don't know why they have so many rooms on that ship. I mean, there are thousands of windows when we have a look at the ship in the TV series. Maybe they hope that once there will be more Asgards again, or they can invite a lot of friends. I don't know why they have so many rooms. Well, but that's a problem of the Stargate lore. I think we can't solve that here. Yeah, there are many details. Have a look here. We got this greebling. That looks cool, all the tech greebling up here. It wasn't so much fun to assemble, but the final section here really looks amazing. And the build is almost startless. This is great. This might be the engine, I'm not so sure. Down here we got the stand, and it's quite simplistic stand, but I like this. A lot of those, the BlueBrixx Star Trek sets came with stands which yeah, were too complex for my taste. Some of the stands looked like an emblem of, Starfleet or the Klingons or whatever. And when you got a colorful stand, it's simply too distracting. The ship should be the star of the set, not the stand. And that's why I prefer these simple stands. They also produced stands which were in the shape of the shadow of those Star Trek ships. But I really prefer these simple stands. There's only this plaque attached, and other than that, the only thing the stand does is, its job to keep the model in place. Then when we have a look at the plaque, there we can see that it's in the shape of a Stargate. Is it a Milky Way Stargate? Yeah, I think so. And then we get to see that this ship could be seen in the Stargate SG-1 series, and that it's an Asgard O'Neill class ship. We can quite easily detach the ship from its stand. It's only attached via 2 Technic axles to the stand. It's very easy to do with 2 hands, but since I have to hold a camera with 1 hand, it's a bit more complicated for me. Okay. And here you can see the 2 Technic axles, which we stick in those holes here. This hole and that hole. So you can see we got these round tiles with hole in them, and below those tiles there are, I can't really remember, plates with cross-shaped holes, or maybe bricks with cross-shaped holes, I can't remember. But in those holes we stick these Technic axles, and then the build is connected with its stand. And you can see from the underside that the build really is almost studdless. That's so cool. Alright, then let's reattach the ship to its stand. Maybe it's easier when I do it like this. Oops. Of course, I shouldn't destroy the stand. So let's see. This goes here, this goes there. And now let's turn it around. And there the ship is reattached to its stand. The bricks we used for this set are alright. I'm not a big fan of Xingbao pieces, but I think for this set they did the job well. We almost get to see no injection holes. That's great. So you can see we got studs here in the front. Those come without injection holes. The injection marks on the ingots are absolutely fine, no reason to complain. Sadly, here is an injection hole visible, but I think that's more or less all. There's no hole visible. Yeah, here's a hole visible, but I can't see more. The studs here in the back come without injection holes, and I think those are all studs visible. Maybe here we get to see parts of studs, but they all come without injection holes. Yeah, that's great. All the ugly crater-like injection holes are hidden. So BlueBrixx did a great job there. The color of the pieces looks quite cool. I like this metallic silver look, and some of the pieces come with scratches, but all in all, it's absolutely alright. It looks great. The clutch power of the pieces differs. So The non-metallic silver pieces, for example the black pieces down here, have absolutely fine clutch power, but interlocking the metallic silver pieces just felt a bit strange, and I think they come with significantly less clutch power. For this build here, the clutch power seems to be sufficient. I mean, nothing is falling off the ship. It's completely sturdy. It's an absolutely sturdy build. But maybe you can't use these pieces for all of your projects. Maybe if you build some very complicated MOC, then the clutch power wouldn't be sufficient. But for this particular case, if you use only the pieces for what they are meant to be, then yeah, there's no problem at all, I think. During the building process, maybe something isn't as dirty as it should be, but once you have completed everything, then there's no problem with the sturdiness. The ship is really swooshable, so you can't do anything wrong. Well, I might have been not too convinced when they announced this ship, and maybe it's also a bit expensive. But now I'm very happy that I could complete this build and that, yeah, I have it here. It looks way cooler than I thought. I guess you have to see it in person. This makes really a difference. I especially like the part here in the back, it's so cool. I'm not the biggest fan of this huge gap here between the upper and the lower part, but I think the real ship also has some kind of gaps here because there are all those windows. But with building blocks it looks a bit strange, but all in all, it looks great. They could reproduce the shape quite well. Yeah, this is a great addition for my other Stargate sets. And just a few minutes before I finished the build, they announced that there's going to be another Stargate series. So maybe in some years we will even get, new Stargate ship models. That would be great.